Hello, I'm Bernard Norcott-Mahany. I work at the Blueford branch of the Kansas City Public Library. April is National Poetry Month, and for April 2022, I am reading some of the Odes of Horace. Horace was a Roman lyric poet primarily. He wrote other types of poems as well, and he is probably the second best-known Roman poet. I'll be using translations by a man named David Ferry. Sometimes those translations are sort of loose, but one of the things about lyric poems is they have to work as poems. The translation has to work as a poem. And sometimes that means changing things or mucking things up a little bit from the original, because the original will not translate exactly into English and keep its poetic sense. So the poem that we're going to look at today is poem 24 from Book 1 of the Odes. This is a poem addressed to Virgil, the poet Virgil, the most famous of the Roman poets, who wrote the Aeneid. It's a poem of condolence. A man named Quintilius, and we don't know exactly who he is. There's a Varus who is mentioned in a previous poem that we did not do. That Varus might be Quintilius, so he might be Quintilius Varus. He seems to have been a wealthy person who owned vineyards. So he's a friend of Virgil's. We don't know anything else. He's died, and so this is a poem of condolence in which Horace mentions the poet Orpheus, who could do amazing things when he played music. So, Book 1, 24 of Horace's Odes to Virgil. How should this grief be properly put into words? Melpomene, to whom the Father gave the voice that to the music of the lyre flows out in mournful measure, teach me the art. Can it be true that Quintilius lies in the sleep that goes without ever ending? Where then will justice and faith, the sister of justice, and decency and truth that needs no ornament, find his equal? Virgil, many are they who mourn for him, but none like you who mourn so, ceaselessly. Your pious grief, alas, can never persuade the gods to alter the terms that gave him life. Suppose that you were able to play the lyre even more skillfully than Orpheus played it, causing the very trees to listen to him. What good would it do? Could the music restore blood to the veins of the empty shade of one who has died? How could the music persuade the god to open the door that he has shut, and shut once and for all, the god whose horrid wand shepherds the dead to where they are going down to there to be shut away? It is hard. But all of this must be endured, and by endurance, what can never be changed will be, at last, made easier in the heart. So, at the beginning of the poem, he mentions Melpomene. Melpomene is one of the muses who apparently was in charge of elegies, so poems of condolence and mourning. So that was to Virgil, apparently on the death of a man named Quintilius by Horace.